I have here a refresh, the Huion Kamvas Pro 16 V2 to review, and in my head, an idea for another pigeon sticker. Let's sketch it out, see how this tablet holds up. Hello, Ryan here, a slow traveling artist with yet another drawing tablet crossing borders with me. This time it's a revamp of Huion's Kamvas Pro 16. The core design of it is much the same with the express keys and touch strip along one side, but what's improved is the pen. The drawing experience is quite good and we're going to get into the details of that in a moment. Firstly, Huion did send this over to me for review, but the thoughts here are my own. If by the end of this you think that this might be a good tablet for your situation, then please do check out the affiliate link in the description below. Moving along. So as something of a wind down routine, I try to do a bit of sketching in my notebook before bed. And recently, I've been having a whole lot of pigeon characters appearing. So I figured for this review, I'd bring a couple of those over onto the digital canvas toward a long overdue sticker pack. So what do we actually have here? In the box, we've got the tablet, of course. There's a tablet stand, the 3-in-1 connector cable with a plug. There's the pen, a stand for it, and inside of that, some spare nibs as well when you screw it open. There are no felt nibs, unfortunately. You get a drawing glove, a cleaning cloth, some stickers for the shortcut buttons, and a quick start guide. Now, if you haven't used a tablet like this before, it's important to note that this is not a standalone device. It needs to be plugged into a computer in order to work. It's an extra display for your computer that supports pen input. Looking a little closer at it, the display is 15.6 inches diagonally with a bit of a bezel around. The overall size is 44 by 25 centimeters, and it weighs nearly 1.4 kilograms. This is slightly larger and slightly heavier than the Kamvas 16 Gen 3. This is a fully laminated display with etched glass. You can see in comparison to the regular glass of a Galaxy Tab that it diffuses the light quite well. This is really nice. It adds a bit of texture to the surface, which gives more friction to the pen when you're drawing, and that gives you overall a better drawing experience. The build quality is really nice, and as we flip this over, the back has this brushed metal-like surface, which gives it a more premium feel. There are 2 vertical rubber strips to prevent the tablet from sliding about, and on the side, a USB-C port for connecting to your computer. Now for this, you'll use a 3-in-1 cable, which has on one side a USB-A, HDMI, and power cable, and this all feeds into a single connector. This port, though, only fits the proprietary Huion cable because it's a bit deeper and a bit narrower. The tablet doesn't support a single USB-C connection, which is unfortunate. And the reason I say this is because with my laptop, the HDMI and the USB-A ports are on opposite sides, and the length of each of these is long enough, but only just. I still get a bit of tension here and a bit of bend in the cable that I'd rather not have. The alternative is to use a USB hub, like this one from Anker. I can plug these in here and then connect the hub to the USB-C port of my laptop. That does the trick, though I did notice my colors were slightly different by default, slightly less contrasty. Flipping back over, we have a set of buttons and a touch strip here along the side. The top one is for power. There are 6 customizable keys and a touch strip. Then at the bottom, a button for switching the function of the touch strip, or if you press and hold it, you get the on-screen display menu, which lets you change the brightness and color settings. These buttons cover the basics of what I need while sketching. Switching to my brush, adjusting the brush size, undo, navigation, which is important because this is not a touchscreen display, and I want to be able to rotate and zoom easily and quickly. Now to customize the buttons, you're going to need the driver from the Huion website. Before this though, make sure that you uninstall any other tablet drivers that you have because you might experience some conflicts. I've had issues with Wacom drivers and Huion drivers causing problems with pen pressure. So just be sure to remove those first, and once installed, you'll be able to assign various functions or keystrokes to the buttons, to the touch strip, to your pen buttons, or even create an on-screen menu for some extra actions as well. If you forget what you've programmed into your buttons, then maybe this sheet of included stickers could be helpful, though they're square and the buttons are round, so clearly not for placing on the buttons themselves, but perhaps you could put them to the side here, just as a reminder as you're getting used to things. With the touch strip, you can also tweak the sensitivity of it, or if you don't like it, you can disable it completely. For left-handed folks, you can rotate the orientation of the tablet in the driver 180 degrees and then flip your tablet around. These tablets are normally set to right-handed by default. Now this set of shortcuts, while nice, is not really going to be enough for when I get deeper into a piece. I'm definitely still going to be reaching for my keyboard or perhaps a controller off to the side for a few more options. But there is a way to get more from these tablet buttons, and it all lies in the pen, and we're going to get into the how of that in just a moment. This pen is the PW600A with Huion's Pentech 4.0 inside. It's the same technology that's coming with the Kamvas Pro 19, the Kamvas 16 and 13 Gen 3s, and it's really good. Because the tablet supports Pentech 4.0, if you prefer a slimmer pen, then there's the PW600S, which is also compatible, but it is a separate purchase. It's got 16,000 levels of pressure sensitivity, more than enough range there. 2 grams of initial activation force, meaning that the minimum level of pressure that you need to apply for a line to start appearing is very low, and that lets you sketch quite naturally. Varying my pressure, I can get a nice variation of thick and thin lines. Getting a consistent line weight is quite easy. Tilt works as expected as well, and I often use this to change the angle of my brush, or with more pastel-like brushes, you can get a less dense texture as you angle the pen. While inking my drawings, I did notice that with very light lines, there was a bit of wave to them, and it turns out that this has more to do with the fact that I'm drawing zoomed out on a 4K canvas when the resolution of this is only 1080p. So this is just something to keep in mind if you are working on bigger canvases and you need to make long, smooth lines. You may have to bump up your stabilizer setting a bit. If you're a painter working with broad brushstrokes, this is not an issue. Looking more at the pen itself, this has 3 buttons along the side and no eraser on the back. I don't mind this so much because I prefer a shortcut button instead anyway, and then you do have these 3 buttons on the pen, which are all customizable. I usually use the front button for Alt, which is my color picker, but I can do more using this as a modifier for the shortcuts that I have assigned. By tweaking the shortcuts in my drawing app, I could get a whole other layer of functions for the buttons and the touch strip on the side of my tablet. For example, I have this button set to B for my brush. On my pen, I have Alt for my eyedropper. But if I go into my drawing app settings and I change the shortcut for the eraser to Alt plus B, then I can switch to that by holding down my pen button and then pressing this one down, which would normally switch to my brush, but because of the combination, it now switches to my eraser. You can do this for all of the buttons and the touch strip so long as they're set to keystrokes. And now you have 2 or 3 times extra functionality without needing to pull up a keyboard or set a controller off to the side. The drawing experience overall has been really good. Redrawing these sketches in a very loose and light manner has felt quite natural with that very low initial activation force. And then later on with the inking, I didn't really have any issues with the line wobble once I bumped up the stabilizer setting. I tested this in Clip Studio Paint and in Magma as well, which is browser-based, and the behavior was much the same there. The matte surface is good. I do kind of miss the felt pen nibs though, and I didn't notice much in the way of fingerprint marks accumulating, though I do often use a glove when I draw. It's not the brightest display, but I thought it was fine sitting here next to this big window with lots of natural light coming in. So let's wrap this up. Closing thoughts on the Huion Kamvas Pro 16 V2. Not a bad tablet for the price at around $360 currently on discount. Though looking around at some other options in a similar price range, even from Huion themselves, I'm not sure that you're really gaining much with the Pro label here, beyond perhaps a nicer build quality, which is one of the things that I do like about this. While I do prefer dials, the touch strip is kind of nice and reminds me of one of my favorite tablets, the Wacom Intuos 3. What I'm not so wild about is the 3-in-1 cable. Now, this really isn't a big deal, it's more of a me thing. I just find that it doesn't give you the tidiest travel setup. It's a bit cumbersome. I prefer to have video and power all going through a single cable connection. So should you buy it, I think that if you are a digital painter, a 3D modeler, sculptor on a tighter budget, then it's an option worth looking at. But if you're working on really large canvases, raster, doing tight line work, maybe it's worth looking at another option like the Kamvas 16 Gen 3. This is about $100 more, and you're getting a 2.5K resolution rather than 1080, and you get some extra express keys along the side, 2 dials instead of a touch strip, and then if your computer supports it, you can run that tablet on a single USB-C connection, which I prefer. But what do you think? Got any questions? Drop a comment down below. I'm gonna get back to a few more stickers here. Ciao for now.